Have you ever tried to create a daily plan and you have no idea where to start, or you create one and by the end of the day you're like, well, I didn't do any of this? Well, I'm going to help you out and I'm going to help you understand better how to create a daily plan. I'm going to basically tell you what I've done in the past and what I'm currently doing to see if it'll help create a daily plan that'll boost your productivity. Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Kino and I help teach the next generation. So a daily plan is something that everyone should do to an extent. Overdoing them and overthinking on them, let's not do that. But a daily plan just to kind of guide your way through the day, so make sure your day is focused. That's kind of the aim for today. So I'm going to teach you what I've been doing for the past couple of months and years and kind of explain my thought process on why I do these. And maybe you can take away some of these and utilize them into your daily planning. I personally like weekly planning a bit more, but daily planning is important for most people to understand and to kind of get an idea of how to do it correctly. So for the daily plan, the most important thing you can do is to determine your top priorities for the day. So for me, at the start of every day, I take a few minutes to kind of figure out the most important task that needs to be completed. And these are the tasks that will have the biggest impact on my goals. And for some people, it may help them to write it down. Personally, I have it on a calendar, but you want to make sure you have these goals written down somewhere so that you can refer to them later in the day when you're finished with your big thing. So for example, today I'm recording 5 to 10 videos today. Then I'm going to go ahead and probably do some more scripting and then probably record some YouTube shorts. And that's kind of the plan for today. And I know that all 3 of these will have a big impact on my goals as a YouTuber. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out of the way today. And the top priority is the videos. Then I will probably be recording the shorts and then probably scripting. That's kind of the general idea. Very, very basic way. Because I'm not including time to eat, other activities and such. I'm just saying, do this thing, do that thing, do this thing. So in the basic idea, if you can say, okay, so this thing, super important for my goal. This thing, super important for my goal. This thing, super important for my goal. We're going to get them done today. That's a very good start, honestly. As I just mentioned, you can just have them listed, but it's actually better to schedule specific times for each task. So I assign specific times for each one because it helps me stay on track and make sure I'm not wasting time on less important tasks. When I do that, right now it's about 7:30 when I'm recording this, and I'm going to keep going until about 8. Then I'm gonna go to the gym to take a bit of a break and then come back and continue recording. And then after recording, take a break, then come back and record a couple of shorts, then take a break, and then come back and script. So that's the general outline. I've scheduled, at least in this example, how the day will go. And for each of the things, it might take an hour or 2. It just depends on the task. And you also make sure you have your scheduled some breaks for time that's unexpected, events coming up, or tasks that may come up where you may have to walk the dog because no one else can, feed the dog, etc., etc. It just might be some things that come up that you may have to deal with. So try and schedule times that allow you, I guess, as well, where you're the most productive. For me, I'm a morning person. I get all my work done in the morning. If you're a night owl, get your work done in the night. If you're in the middle, do it in the middle. And if you're someone who has a very weird schedule, just find an opportunity to kind of dedicate that time. If you have like an hour between lunch and your break, then try to use that, for example. Just get an idea and just schedule a specific time for the tasks that have to get done that day. Now, when it comes to any larger tasks that one may have, you want to break them down into smaller, more manageable chunks. So if I have a large project or a task that feels overwhelming, I always break it down into smaller steps. There was an essay, I think when I was in high school, when I was graduating, that I had to write 30 pages. And what I wish I had done was done a page a day over the span of a month. So by the time I got to the day it was due, I have an essay already written. No, I wrote 30 pages in one day. That was brutal. impossibly difficult. So you want to break it up into chunks. So I did this recently. Funny enough, also the year I was graduating. So this past semester in college, there was a 15-page essay that had to get done, and I did it over time, day by day. So by the time I got to the time it was due, it was already done with bibliography and everything done, I think a week beforehand, because I started a bit earlier. But because I finished it early, I didn't have to worry. Because I broke it down, I didn't have to worry. So if it's big, I'm talking like it's going to take you days, weeks to finish. Break it up into chunks that'll take you a day to finish, or a couple hours in a day to finish, so that you slowly progress over time, because it builds up over time. And maybe you'll get done faster than you think. That's what I've found. If you break it down, it'll probably get done a bit faster. Now, scientifically, don't know if that's true, but hear me out. Now, the next thing would be using a planner or a calendar of some sort to keep track of your daily plan. So I personally use a calendar, the Google Calendar. I've done videos on it before. I might make an updated one in the future, but basically I have a calendar that tells me what I'm doing on these specific times and what that specific thing is. Specific, such a hard word to say. So it helps me stay organized and ensures that I don't miss any important deadlines. So all of my deadlines are on the Google Calendar, whether it's personal, business, etc. I have everything that I'm doing, any big events, appointments, etc. It's all on there, so I can always refer to it, look back and go, okay, so this is what we're doing right now. Let's get it done, because we have to do this thing later in the day, and then after that we get to enjoy our time in the gym, so on and so forth. So calendar, time block, make sure you do that. If you have a planner of some sort, also use that. Make sure you're tracking what you're doing so that you know what you're actually doing, instead of just guessing. Okay, so I'm done with this thing. What's next? I don't know. I'm out of ideas. No. Make sure you know what you're doing, so that's easy and manageable for you to do all the stuff in your daily plans. And then finally, this is the big one that a lot of people may not truly comprehend, is I always review and adjust my plan as needed. My plan is never set in stone. A perfect example of this: yesterday I was tracking books to buy later, and on the whim I went to go actually source books from my local thrift stores. And I came back and then I finished. That was not a part of the thing. I was not planning on going sourcing that day, but I felt like I needed to, because I needed to get some more inventory in. We just sent in about 200, but that's not enough. So I went out to source. So you have to make sure your plan is, but can allow for wiggle room. So if I find that I'm unable to complete a task, for example, or if there's a task that requires my immediate attention, or it's taking longer than expected, I adjust my plan accordingly. It's better to be flexible and realistic than to set myself up for failure. What you don't want to do is you don't want to fail, consistently over time on your daily plan, because that will build up and you'll kind of doubt your abilities and such. So make sure it's flexible enough that you can still do kind of what you want, but it's strict enough where you still have to get work done. Because my gym time is pretty flexible. I can go whenever I want. I could go at 4 a.m. I could go at 8 p.m. at night. It's not a real set in stone time, but the work time is set in stone. The times I eat, somewhat set in stone. It kind of depends how I'm feeling, but overall, make sure you're able to kind of weave in different things at different times. So this is, if you follow these or add some of these into your daily planning, there's going to be a significant improvement into overall productivity, because I do all of these and I've never feel overwhelmed or burnt out or tired of doing work. I always look forward to it. I always have backup plans. I always have things coming up to me that just come out of nowhere. So I'm always prepared and I'm ready to kind of get to work. So keep these in mind. Try and add some of them over time. If you need more help with time management, there's a link in the description for my coaching call where you and I will talk one-on-one, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure you're an elite level time management individual.